In 2024, we explored Botswana and Zimbabwe during the dry, dusty months of September and October, a time when drought gripped much of Africa. In 2025, we returned, this time in May and June, just after heavy and unusually late rains had transformed the landscape into a lush green paradise. Were our sightings better or worse? Join me in the next episodes to find out. Suddenly, the silence of Hwange was broken. On the 31st of May, we were on our way to Hwange National Park. We decided to take the road through the coal mine to reach Sinamatela. But that turned out to be a mistake. The main road to Bulawayo was in a terrible condition. Honestly, we probably would have been faster driving through the park. And then we got lost in the mine. We had to stop and ask for directions. So, this is definitely not a route I would recommend. But when we finally arrived in Sinamatela, it was beautiful. Flowers were blooming everywhere, like a festive welcome. At Masuma, everything was green and fresh. A pearl-spotted owlet greeted us from the trees. Crocodiles were sunbathing. Hippos were relaxing in the water. The hide had huge holes in the thatched roof. As if it had once been raining hippos. Across the dam, a giraffe walked slowly through the bright green landscape. Kapula Camp was just as lush. The deck lounge was almost completely closed with canvas because the evenings were very cold. And we were the only guests. It felt like we had landed on a lonely ancient planet. The silence was almost screaming. Shumbapen. We visited Shumbapen but saw no animals. The next day we drove to Bambamatsa. There we found only 2 hippos in the water hole. Water was everywhere. On the way back we crossed the pen that is usually dry, but this time it was full of water, and the resident hippo was not happy to see us. What used to be a road was now his territory. We gathered our courage and carefully crossed. At that point we were honestly disappointed. No lions, hardly any elephants. But then everything suddenly changed. On our way back from a game drive, we witnessed a wild dog kill. A pack of African wild dogs can finish an impala in just minutes. And that's exactly what happened. But the hyenas had also noticed. They came running to join the feast. The dogs had definitely not invited them. They tried to defend their meal, chasing the hyenas again and again. The impala is almost done and Sabadell dogs are begging for food. The bush suddenly exploded with sound. Barking, growling, and the haunting calls of the hyenas. Our peaceful solitude was suddenly broken by this wild battle. Nature at its rawest. And that made it unforgettable.